Hello and welcome back to another University Deep Dive. Today we are profiling Kellogg School of Business at Northwestern University. And we have guest Nick Paine with us. Nick, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're excited. You guys got a great program over there, and we can't wait to learn more about it. So Spencer, I'll turn the time over to you.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Sam. And Nick, really nice to have you on. Appreciate your time. It's really valuable, your insights about Kellogg and studying real estate at Northwestern. You know, maybe I'll start out with a softball question, and these will all be softballs. What does it mean to study real estate as part of an MBA at Kellogg?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, excited to be here, Spencer. Tell you a little more about Kellogg. So I would say studying real estate at Kellogg, it's basically within the finance department. So if you're interested in real estate, for instance, myself, it's a 2-year full-time program that I'm a part of. I'm majoring in finance with a real estate pathway within that. So there's a variety of courses offered. They offer kind of a baseline finance course within real estate, specifically real estate finance. Once you have that course under your belt, you can then branch out into a lot of different areas of real estate. That includes an advanced finance course within the real estate realm, real estate development, real estate technology, there's a half credit course on evaluating markets and what makes a good market, different things that drive growth in cities and that sort of realm. And then finally, I think a pretty unique course offering is also one on real estate entrepreneurship, which is taught by an adjunct professor who is also a Kellogg alum and has started his own business within the real estate space and comes back to teach that course as well.
Yeah, that's interesting. So the degree is a Master's of Business Administration, MBA.
Yep.
And then it's a path in real estate. Is there a formal concentration or is it, okay, you elect that this is the path that you're following and there's some electives? Or talk to me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I would say it's a formal concentration. So it's a formal concentration within the finance department, if that makes sense.
That does, yeah.
Yeah, within your transcript and your you'd have a master's in business administration, majoring in finance with a concentration in real estate.
Got it. Now, at what point do you make that election? Is this happening as part of the application process to Northwestern? You say, okay, I want to take the real estate path, and then from an admission standpoint, you're kind of falling in a bucket of individuals who are pursuing real estate, or does this happen when you arrive on campus and you have some orientation and ultimately conclude, hey, real estate's the path I want to take?
Yeah, it's a good question. So as you're applying for the MBA in general, within your application, you're going to be indicating, from this point forward, what do I see as the benefits of the MBA? What kind of career progression do I see for myself? And that's going to include your field, what your past experience has been, those kinds of questions. So you're going to set a certain course for yourself. For myself, I knew it was real estate from the beginning, and that is going to help them guide you towards what classes you're going to find most valuable. And then you're not going to officially declare necessarily your major. You could do it right away, but you're not required to do it until your second year. And at that point, you're going to declare kind of, here's my major. Some people major in multiple things, finance and marketing, finance and ventures, like new ventures, a lot of entrepreneurial classes at Kellogg. So you can decide it from the beginning, but you have flexibility. There's people that come in who are more interested in consulting or finance, going that kind of iBanking or consulting route initially, and end up switching over to real estate. So it's a flexible program, but so you can really decide it at any point where you want to take.
Yeah, so you're communicating to the admissions committee that real estate's of interest, but really you get to campus and you could change your mind. And that's nice to have that sort of flexibility. Now, in terms of requirements, right, to come out and have that concentration in real estate, how many real estate courses are you taking? You mentioned a few of those, but are there requirements versus electives, or how does that work? And how many credits in real estate would you expect to take in those 2 years?
Yeah, that's a good question. I believe the requirement is 3 credits within real estate, but I'd have to double check. So there's probably, in terms of course offerings, it's in the realm of 8 classes or so within the real estate concentration.
Sure.
So you would need to take 3 of those, 3 credits of that to achieve the concentration. And the required one to start it all off is the real estate finance. And then from that starting off point, you can branch off a little bit, either taking more real estate finance, development, entrepreneurship, technology, that kind of thing.
Yeah. So outside of the classroom, what sort of extracurricular activities are available, open to real estate students? Clubs, events, et cetera. Well, talk to us about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm also going to talk a little bit pre-COVID, as obviously COVID is kind of a little bit of a different situation for all aspects of life. Everything's much more remote.
Of course. Yep.
But I would say the main extracurricular activity is the Kellogg Real Estate Club. So there's both a club for the full-time students like myself, as well as the part-time students who are mostly Chicago-based, working in the real estate industry. And those are the 2 main extracurricular groups. So within the Kellogg Real Estate Club, that coordinates a lot of the activities such as case competitions. We put together teams to compete nationally. We have lunch and learns, which are where you have people coming from different areas of real estate and then basically teaching a class for the rest of the club for people interested in, for instance, I did one on multifamily. Other people have done one on industrials, things of that nature. You have guest speakers coming in. So people within the real estate industry, we ask them to come on the campus or to do some kind of Zoom session so people can hear their wisdom on oftentimes a project they're working on, a new fund that they've raised, and have the ability to ask questions on that. A 4th piece is a real estate trek, which is we often do at the end of the winter and in the spring to different cities to meet with employers, get a sense for some of the interesting employers in that city. We go to New York City most often, Chicago, and then occasionally another market in that of students. For a day long, we visit various employers over that day. And then finally, I think the last pieces are we offer some trainings through the club for people looking to brush up or to gain new skills if they're pivoting from without a real estate background into real estate, things like modeling, Argus training. And then finally, there's the social networking aspect. So the club does a lot of both within the program networking, where we're going to have barbecues, dinners, things of that nature so that people can get to know each other well. And then also without to other schools as well. We have U Chicago booth here in Chicago. We have the part-time club that I mentioned. So we'll coordinate for events, when we're in person with those clubs as well. So people can meet groups outside of the Kellogg community too.
Yeah. How much does being in the city of Chicago impact those extracurriculars? Are you meeting with employers in their offices? Are you going and visiting sites? I mean, does Chicago real estate play into your experience a lot, or is it more, more kind of national? And anyway, yeah. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no. So I would say Chicago plays a major part. Just, we're Kellogg's located within the Chicagoland area, just outside the city, just north of the city. You can see downtown from campus. And that makes it really easy for people to both, when we're going to meet with employers on like an official trek, and we can take a bunch of people, take the subway down, meet, go to their offices, see what they have to say, learn what employers, there's a big commercial real estate scene in Chicago, a lot of commercial real estate firms that are doing a wide variety of different projects. So you have that piece. You have the city of Chicago itself. There's architectural tours that we always do as an extracurricular, where we're going to see a lot of this history of the buildings in Chicago, and a lot of the new, as a part of that, you often get to tour new developments as well. And then finally, one aspect that I think is also unique that's offered as part of the real estate curriculum, So it's not exactly an extracurricular, but it uses the Chicago employers, is a class that we call Real Estate Lab. And the lab is kind of as a way of saying it's hands-on. So you're taking this class as a part of your course load, but you're actually 1 to 2 days a week, you're going in to visit and work at an office of a Chicago employer within the real estate scene. So it's a really great way, if you don't have a real estate background, to see what it's like hands-on before you're doing an official internship the summer after your first year. And then also if you're making a pivot or want to learn more about another aspect of real estate, it's a really great way to get that hands-on experience. Both depends on, there's a wide variety of both firms and projects you can work on. You can work on the day-to-day in some firms. You're doing the underwriting, you're doing some asset management. Other firms, it's more of like kind of a research project based. So there's a wide variety there, but that's one way that we really utilize the Chicago.
I love that. Yeah. Real estate lab. It's like an internship, but through the school year. It sounds like. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
let's talk a little bit about the Alumni Network. How much support do you feel from them? How important are they to your experience at Kellogg?
Yeah, good question. So I think the Alumni Network is very important, very supportive, and definitely a big reason that I came to Kellogg. Before Kellogg, I was working at a firm called Greystar doing real estate development. And it was really through talking with coworkers who had been to business school, and a lot of them actually had gone to Kellogg, that it was first put on my radar. Coming in, there's a lot of information out there. I mean, what do these different MBA programs offer? Which ones actually even have classes and that kind of an idea? So I think that was my impression right out of the gate. People were happy to talk, and I found that to be definitely the case throughout my career here at Kellogg. When you reach out to alumni, both within Kellogg as well as alumni from the just greater Northwestern network that maybe went to undergrad at Northwestern University, there's a big group of alumni from that group too, that when you reach out, they're happy to talk and really happy to connect with you and offer guidance. A couple of the official ways that they offer support, one is through our Career Center. You can be paired with a mentor in real estate, and they kind of do this for people, and whether you're pursuing consulting, tech, real estate. So you can be paired with a mentor that they'll set up calls with, and that makes it really easy to get your foot in the door without having to kind of send out a cold email, cold call, something of that nature, which is a really helpful service. Second, we have the Kellogg Real Estate Alumni Network, which has groups in different cities. So I think that most often it's about once a quarter we have a networking event with them. So these are alumni in the Chicago area. They'll put on a happy hour, and we get to meet a lot of people through that network. And then one final area that I think is both kind of unique and a really big asset is, so the Guthrie Center of Real Estate is the arm of Kellogg that kind of is the real estate arm that funds a lot of the initiatives and classes and the real estate conference we have every spring. That is governed by a real estate alumni council it's somewhere in the realm of 40 to 50 alumni who are just really, really prominent in real estate. These are really both principals, managing directors, executives at a variety of firms kind of across the country, including, a lot of names that we'd all know, including Walton Street, Blackstone, that kind of thing. Right. So this group, they're both on campus for the conference in the spring, and then one time in the fall, they have a meeting and a breakfast that current students are invited to. So that's a really always an exciting opportunity to usually, you go in person, they have a breakfast set up, you're at a table with some really distinguished alumni, and you also get to listen in and participate in a discussion of kind of state of the market and that kind of thing. So those are a few of the ways that the alumni are really involved.
Yeah, sounds like they're really engaged with you as students. What about outcomes? So, you came from the development side of the world, working at Greystar, big international firm, coming out of Northwestern with an MBA and that concentration in real estate. Your peers, your past, your former students, what areas of real estate are they entering in most, right? Development, asset management, acquisitions, portfolio management, brokerage, and et cetera.
Yeah.
And what about geographically as well? Are you seeing most concentrating in the Midwest, or are they leaving the Midwest for other areas? So talk about outcomes for us, if you would.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I would say overall, the main areas that people end up in post MBA would be real estate development, real estate acquisitions, investment, kind of, there's, can be a fine line. Where does that turn into development versus something more kind of like on the private equity side? Those are going to be the main two. You have some people who might go into commercial brokerage as well, but I see that less often. So I think those would be the two main buckets, would be real estate development or real estate private equity focused. I would say maybe, I wouldn't say a majority end up in the Midwest. It's a pretty nationwide peer group, I would say. The main destinations are going to be Chicago, New York, Los Angeles, San Francisco, and then kind of maybe other. And I'm just thinking back to some of the alumni that I've known that recently that graduated last year. We have people also in Denver and Toronto, to name a few of the kind of other cities. So it's a nationwide focus. You find Kellogg alumni and Northwestern alumni specifically within the real estate space, in a variety of different markets around the country and actually the world as well. I would say I'm personally accepted a job at a private equity firm based in Los Angeles for post-graduation. They're called CIM Group, and they operate across the country, but based in LA. And we have a few alumni there. They always come and recruit on campus. I think some of the major recruiters you find on campus still fall mainly within those two buckets. We have big developers. You have the Greystars, the Hines of the world, as well as the private equity firms, as well as kind of real estate. It might be like a real estate investment arm of a financial service vehicle as well, like USAA Real Estate, who's a big player in the space, recruits here, as well as Tishman Speyer and Allianz. Their real estate investment arm, based in New York, it would be another one that is here every year recruiting. So those are the two main buckets, and then I would say kind of across the board.
That's great to hear. And those are all incredible firms. Congratulations, by the way, on your full-time offer, and CIM Group, a fantastic firm. To wrap up here, we're running out of time. A question we ask everyone who joins this series, as you've looked back now, I guess it's been a year and a half or more since you've been studying, and so as you think to all the experiences real estate related during your time in Northwestern and Kellogg, what is one experience that especially has been impactful for you in the trajectory of your career? Yeah.
I'm going to say two come to mind that kind of tie into each other a little bit. I mean, I think the first one is within the real estate entrepreneurship class. I found that class to be very impactful. The guy who teaches it, Bill Bennett, has been a great mentor of mine, and kind of the culmination of that class is presenting a real estate venture idea that you'd have. We looked at, converting a underperforming hotel into multifamily units. So I found that class to be really great. And then it really set me up just a few weeks ago. This was at the end of November. We put together a team of 6 people to compete in the UT case competition, their national real estate competition. That case was around pitching an industrial development and then also kind of looking at portfolio allocations given COVID-19. So we did that competition. We ended up, putting our best foot forward and came away with the first place prize, which was a great culminating experience. I think kind of taking, all I had learned here, as well as leveraging past experience, and then really like coming together as a team to really feel like we left it all out on the table and just were fortunate enough to come away with the prize, which was really satisfying.
Well, congrats on that. I've participated in the past in that competition. It's not easy. It's the top graduate programs around around the world, really, that are participating. So congrats on that.
Thank you.
Nick, thank you for your time. You represent Kellogg and Northwestern well. Good luck post-graduation. And with that, I'll turn it back to Sam to wrap us up.
Yes.
Thanks,
Nick, absolutely fabulous job today. Thank you so much for joining us and for taking the time as far as the readers are concerned. Thank you for taking the time to watch this amazing interview with Nick. And we wish you the best of luck and the best of luck on your adventure in CRE.